Nine. Rob, what I want to get to briefly for a moment, Martellus Bennett, one of the more outspoken NFL players of the current generation, he now he's retired, of course, but he has put out a bunch of tweets where he's saying kneeling in 2020 don't hit the same. Those are his words. He said he co-signed this tweet from a fan where the fan tweeted, on everything, it's comfortable now. It's the popular thing to do. When it was uncomfortable, 99.9% of athletes were shook. And so Martellus Bennett, he feels like, everybody's doing it. I guess he's almost saying it's gone corporate and it's not that big of a deal. Doesn't have the same oomph or power. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's self-serving. I mean, I respect him for doing what he did, Chris. At the time when most people, he's right, were not comfortable. And we talked about it, Chris, that players could have easily banded together and been able to do it together as a group,
right,
where they couldn't retaliate against everybody, right? So I give him credit that he was his own man or whatever. But now to chastise other people who have come around. Everybody's not always in on the ground floor, Chris. It takes some time for people. All I'm saying is, why are you patting yourself on the back or like you want something special? Like, well, I did it when I was we get it. And we gave you your props back then, didn't we?
Right.
For guys who were willing to do that. So I just think, to me, it comes off as self-serving. There's a movement going on. There are people who have been touched by everything that's happened in this country, Chris, and it ain't – things have changed and they're not all the way there. There's legislation and other stuff that have to come along. But don't knock people for joining in and realizing that they missed it. They missed it 4 years ago, right, with Colin Kaepernick. They did.
Right.
But that doesn't mean you can't eat because you came late to the party. There's food left for everybody.
Right. Yeah, I hate to see that Kaepernick, the guy that started this, is without a job. So that bothers me, but I'm with you for the most part in that, this is really taken off. And I get Bennett saying, now it's not, when we used to do it early on, you were risking something. But now everybody's doing it. It's not a risk. You're not risking danger. Now, here's the thing, and I can't remember who I saw say this recently on TV, but they were right on the money, and you would know him. It was a famous person. I can't remember who it was. But he said, look, what you're seeing with the NBA, you know what? It was Shannon Sharp, and he made a great point. He said, this is a demonstration. It's not a protest. A protest is when the powers that be, you're going against them, right?
Right.
So you're like the NFL doesn't want you to kneel and you're kneeling. That's a protest. Or they don't want you to wear a Black Lives Matter shirt and you wear one. But this is more of a demonstration when the whole league is in on it. The whole NBA, Major League Baseball, we'll see what the NFL does, but they're all in on it and it's a demonstration. But the thing is, a demonstration can be powerful too. Like, this has gone from being a protest to getting some support from the mainstream to the point that now it's become a demonstration. And there's stuff being done, Rob. Like the NBA, they were saying they were going to have 10, black-owned restaurants in the bubble catering food. They've said they're going to have an economic plan to help black-owned businesses. Major League or football's done the same thing.
But the NBA, they missed the boat there with that. Do we need 10 chicken joints in the same spot, Chris? No.
Perfect timing, Alex.
Everything's not funny.
Now, if a white guy would have said that, he'd have been in trouble. He might have got fired. You know
Stop
that?
it.
I mean, I'm saying not you, but I'm just saying. But anyway, that's my point. Like, this is kind of the next step of progress. Now, you hit it on the head. It can't stop with this symbolism. This is all just symbolism. It's nice, but it has to lead to real change and impact. So I'm with you. There's no need to, get mad
Point
at these guys.
fingers and all that, right?
Because the purpose is, it's almost like he's saying, you know, when we did it, we were telling off the man and we were sticking out. That's not the purpose, though. The purpose is to create change. The purpose isn't to boost somebody's ego and make you feel like you really were hardcore telling somebody off. The purpose is to necessitate change and bring about change. And hopefully that's what we see with all of this in the country with the Black Lives Matter. But yeah, it's an interesting time, Rob Parker. And in all of sports, baseball, they're wearing the Black Lives Matter shirts. And
it's unbelievable, too. Like, you know, right behind the pitching mound, you see it, Chris. You know, the Black Lives Matter. I mean, yep. I'm to see all that, I'm impressed. I really am. And it's funny, too, because MLB, the letters are the same letters for Black Lives Matter.
Right,
MLB.
right. Backwards.
Really
that's true. That's right? Wow. Did somebody point that out? Or did you just?
I've been watching and I looked at the letters. I was like, it's the same letters.
Yeah. You know what else? And we've talked a lot about getting more Black Americans in the game, but there's a lot of color in the game. You know, it's not Black Americans, but I mean,
I know that. That's what I was.
There's tons
right
of what I would, you know, Hispanics and people of African descent from the Caribbean and South America and things like that, and obviously, you know, white players. So it's a lot of color in the game, just not that many Black Americans. Okay.